The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
You know, we have Tom from Tampa on the phone. Hey, Tom. Good morning. It's bright and early now, huh?
Hey, Paige. Good. How you guys doing, Nico?
Doing great.
Good. Hey, your newsletter's outstanding, man. I'm telling you, man, it is outstanding. And so is the Primal Edge. I love that stuff. I'd never be without it. I mean, I've been on it now 3-4 months, man. I mean, it's just, I can't get over how good I feel.
Primal Edge is, people are raving about it. People who are trying it, they know because you can feel it.
Would not be without it.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now your hosts, Nico Haan and Paige Clarke.
Good morning, I'm Nico Haan. Welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle, where we explore a return to a more balanced, natural, wild world.
To recover our natural health and regain our rights and freedoms. And good morning, and I'm Paige Clarke.
And it's a beautiful morning in downtown Clearwater, 73 degrees, partly cloudy, but it's going to be warm.
Yes, it's starting to feel like that time of year when we think about where we're going to go in August to get out of it. But right now it feels pretty nice. So please subscribe to our Health Signals newsletter so you can stay in tune with news you can use.
That's for
and
sure.
We're going to be going over a lot of that today, I think, because we got some exciting discussions today. And make sure you get on our daily nutritional supplement, Primal Edge, which has many hundreds of natural whole food ingredients, minerals, amino acids that can keep you healthy.
Yeah, all powered by humic and fulvic acid, the kind of miracle workers that tell the cells to either open up or get rid of this stuff.
Good stuff.
Yes, indeed. And the number here is 877-927-6648. You can always reach us, though, at email at tfnn.com. So Nico at tfnn.com.
And Paige at tfnn.com.
Yeah, so News has Health Signals newsletter out, and I'm just going to read the beginning part.
Well, Nico, this is the whole thing. I mean,
Yes.
I don't know how many people are aware, but you're leaving this Thursday.
Yep.
So you're not going to be here on Thursday. Or
Yeah,
you'll
we'll
be here in the
on
morning.
Thursday. Yeah.
Okay, you'll be here in the morning.
I'm leaving real early Friday morning, actually.
Okay.
You're going to wake up about 2:30.
So we'll have our show because you're going on vacation.
Yep.
And for those of you that don't know, you're going to be, tell everyone what's
Yeah,
going to
well,
be
actually,
happening.
this I'm going to be reading this. In about a week, I will be going, and this is now less than a week, a unique adventure with my son David, driving off-road and hiking in the woods and mountains of Colorado. Let me explain how this all began. For the past 5 years, I've been participating in the PAN, which is the Pan American National
Your Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Exactly, which take place in March in Irving, California. This year I decided to skip the tournament because of injuries I sustained during last year's event. What I didn't know was that my son was going to surprise me by coming to watch me compete. He has never seen me compete. When I made the decision not to attend, my wife told me about David's plan to attend, so she suggested that I come up with a special adventure for David and I.
Oh, that's neat.
So it was a great suggestion. A few years ago, I became fascinated with some YouTube videos, and I was doing research on the show. And I ran across Nathan Rio, who was a Utah Sasquatch in Utah, and features unique tree structures that he indicated were
That's the name of his show, right? Utah Sasquatch?
Yeah, that's the name of his YouTube channel. So these structures were constructed by Bigfoot, he says. So I started following other people on YouTube, and I ran across Mark Bell, and he's Colorado Bigfoot. And as I watched, he showed me the most incredible areas with larger and more elaborate structures than I've ever seen.
So this is the whole thing. What's happening is these researchers, and they're documenting on YouTube, are following these unusual tree structures that defy explanation by natural means, meaning, you know,
first of all, humans can't move that amount of wood.
We have no idea how heavy that is.
Yeah, and I'll go through that too. So the plan really is to, I contacted Mark, and we came up with some dates together.
I think that's wonderful.
He's a cool guy. He was always wanting to do this full time, and he's really got a passion for this thing. So the plan for us is to drive St. Louis to meet my son. My son is driving from Michigan, then both of us drive to Colorado and meet up with Mark. We plan to spend a couple of days in the areas called Bigfoot Universe and Bigfoot World, with tree leans, teepees, giant X's, large trees up in the air. And last week he discovered a new area, which I'm going to show you. So do I believe in Bigfoot? For me, that's the wrong question. To me, belief means you've already made up your mind, and this can interfere with my investigation. Disbelief.
I think that's a really good.
Yeah,
You could apply that comment to a lot of things.
Oh, of course, and I do. And disbelief kind of does the same thing. So the questions I have is, how are the structures made? Is this a natural event of weather, electric currents, or maybe something is creating the structures for communication, or to hunt from, or just for fun maybe? Is there really a creature, an upright hominid out there? You know, and it's in every part of the world. I mean, everything, every place, every continent, except for the southernmost continent, which is Antarctica. They're being seen. They go by many names, of course.
Yes, Sasquatch, Yeti, wild man, skunk ape, and descriptions are of a large bipedal, upright walking humanoid covered in hair, brown to red or white in color, that lives in family groups, is nocturnal, and hunts game and wild plants. You know, it's interesting that you said that about Antarctica, because, you know, there's a lot of explanation that Antarctica is actually originally Atlantis.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's a lot of speculation. And there's a little picture of a face that he gave
Can
me.
that zoom in for Al just
I can't zoom it in, but I have other pictures.
So that face right there is definitely of a humanoid type face.
Yeah.
And this picture was taken by Mark, the researcher?
Yeah, probably about 100 yards, maybe 50 to 100 yards through a telescopic lens, so it is fuzzy, but you can clearly pick out the eyes and the nose and the mouth.
See, I didn't realize up until this very day that Mark had actually seen the figures. I thought he was just seeing the tree structures. I had no idea that he had already seen.
Well, a lot of things happened. You hear things like hooting. You hear things like banging, either rocks banging together or sticks banging together, what they call tree knocks. You hear scurrying in the bushes. And they seem to always parallel you. In other words, it's like an army thing. You have a scout out this way, you have a scout out this way, and one behind you and one in front of you, and they move with you, just at the right distance. And that's the way it seems to appear. So you never really get a good look at them, and very seldom people have. But there have been pictures out there, and yeah, they're fuzzy, but there have been some clear ones, and people say, well, that's a monkey suit. But, you know, everybody has to make up their own mind about this.
Right.
So let me show you a few things that he gave me just to get you to look at some of these structures.
Wow.
So these are tree structures, and you probably noticed that, you know, human beings could probably do that, but when you get to, here's are some of the drawings that people in different parts of the world have
Interesting, they kind of have a similar look.
Yeah, they all have a similar look. Look at these things. So they go from a circle, usually from a reference radius point. A lot of times big X's in the sky. This is about 30 feet in the air, and these trees are about 60 to 70 feet long.
Those are really tall trees.
Yeah. You can see how large these are. And when you try to move these things, and an interesting thing too, these are aspen trees. And this one happens to be broken here. But a lot of these structures, you'll go in, and you will not find any, the base of the tree anywhere. In other words, a lot of these
They've
things...
literally been lifted. Oh, wait, what was that picture that you had just there a minute ago? Right there.
Yeah, that's a little squatting man. So again, taken through a faraway lens. But you can clearly see this is something a human being would do.
Right.
It doesn't look like a human being.
Very interesting. Look at that.
Look at all the bends. How does those things happen? I mean, it's really interesting stuff.
Right.
So we'll be right back, folks. Be sure to pick up the Health Signals newsletter. I got a lot of stuff about Bigfoot in there, but lots of other stuff, too, that you need to see. So stick around. We'll be back in a few minutes. And the number here is 877-927-6648 if you have any questions. You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Nico and Paige take your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Welcome back to the show, folks. And I was listening to Mark's YouTube channel yesterday, and he had this live event on Facebook. He got so excited. He was alone out in the woods just trying to find more places so he could show me, I think, and some of the other people that are going out there, because he hadn't been able to get up to the real high places where all this Bigfoot universe, and it's still about 6 feet of snow. So he went live with this thing, and I don't have the video on, I don't have the sound on, but just to give you an idea how much wood is in some of these places. I mean, this place is just ridiculous. And he was just doing this live thing, and he says, I don't know how this app works, but here I am. I just wanted to show people this, and look at all this wood. And now this wood that's down on the ground here and some of them up in the air didn't grow there. This was brought up from lower part of the mountain.
So how do you know it didn't grow there?
Because there's no stumps.
Oh.
Where the trees would have fallen.
Oh, okay, so there's no stump.
There's no stumps there. If there is,
that makes it extremely curious.
Yeah, and look at the amount of wood that's carried in there. This is a massive amount of wood, and this is at 10 or 12,000 feet. So you're really talking about, you know, the air being thin, hard for human beings. Little sticks, could they be placed by a human? Sure. The large ones, though, as you go down into this video a little bit more, you'll see some really structures that are way up in the air, some of them are bent, and you can't bend trees like that. You know, all the ends are not cut. And there, you can see on the ground there's a lot of little different star formations that go in there. See, that's a star.
Yeah, look at that bend.
Look at the bend. Look at the way up in the air.
But there's no stumps.
There's no stumps.
So it's like, how did it get
and
there?
these are aspen trees, and they're in a pine forest.
Right.
Yeah, aspen trees don't grow in a pine forest.
Right.
So, you know, that's the way it is.
That's very curious.
Yeah, so it's a fascinating thing. And my question again, you know, what or who is building this stuff and how is it built? And I just want to, he says, when you go into these areas, you are calm, everything is good, and then all of a sudden you come across an area that makes it a little more spooky. Mm-hmm. You know, and you get that fear in you. And even Utah Sasquatch says this. A lot of times you'll go through an area and all of a sudden you think you've been being watched.
You get that feeling.
You get that feeling. So,
Holy cow. Holy cow.
It's an amazing thing.
Yeah, you know,
for
it
sure.
says here, he says, I've always wondered why science is so quick to reject the notion that there could still be a large and, as of yet, undiscovered primate living on this planet, especially when one considers that Homo sapiens and large primates have lived side by side on this planet for tens of thousands of years. In fact, in the over 250,000 years that man has been on Earth, he has shared this world with numerous now extinct primates, some as big or even bigger than Bigfoot, making it hard to understand why it would be such an impossibility today.
Yeah.
And so here we are in pine forest with a bunch of aspen trees that have no root systems. 'Cause
Look at
they've
these
been-
are jammed and then bent around between. Very common to see them between things. Look
Wow,
at this one.
that's pretty interesting right there.
No, this
Yeah.
is really mind-blowing things. I mean, this is now you really wonder why I'm going there. Well, I want to see this for myself. Mm-hmm. Just X after X. And it's always a perfect X, it seems. And then things are looped around like this one. Another big X. These trees are about a foot around, or across even. And then you can see X after X after
So then
X.
it really looks like there had to have been some collaboration.
Well,
so
no
a
doubt about
collaborative
it,
society.
yeah.
I mean, like you said,
And a lot of times you'll see the rub marks right around where the joints are. You know, they've been rubbing them in and out and things. And it's just an endless area.
but what you're saying is most all of these are trees that don't belong
That,
in
don't,
that area.
that are not grown in there.
That's
You notice the bark is stripped off of them. Mm-hmm. That usually doesn't happen naturally. And when the stuff is on the ground, too, the interesting part is that, I don't know if there's another picture of that here, but there's just hundreds of these things. This is the area that it's in. This is kind of a view from the top. This is the face.
And
there's
in the
another
Health
face
Signals
in here.
newsletter, you've got some other photographs
Yeah.
that, you know, it's kind of like when you look at clouds and you sometimes think you see something. I could imagine in the forest, sometimes you think you see something, or maybe you really are seeing something.
Yes. So another animal that was here, you know, the
Gigantopithecus.
Yeah.
Gigantopithecus. Here was an animal that would be a real live Bigfoot were it alive today, existing between 9 million years ago until as recent as 100,000 years ago. The Gigantopithecus was a massive primate that may have stood as much as 10 feet tall and weighed over half a ton. So why does it serve as a reason to believe in Bigfoot? Because once more, there is a precedence for large primates existing today, and in essence, the beast proves that primates are capable of getting as big or actually even bigger.
Yeah, and of course, this was a monster. This is probably not what Bigfoot came into. So a lot of people think maybe a relative of him, although he doesn't really stand upright either, and neither do gorillas. The discovery of the gorilla,
The modern gorilla.
the modern gorilla here, was really unknown until about 1902, and there was many rumors for years, and people were kind of laughing it off. But I saw a picture one time where a guy was standing in front of us. He said, I'm standing in front of 19 gorillas. And you can't see any of them until you start looking, and he starts pointing out, well, here's an ear, there's an eye, there's a nose and an eye.
You mean they're hiding in the shrubbery?
They're hiding in the shrubbery. Naturally, they're hiding. You know, otherwise they would have been
Sure.
spotted many, many years ago.
Yeah.
Another reason to believe in Bigfoot is, of course, the Bering Land Bridge, which is, you know, this is where we thought human beings maybe have come.
Yeah, that the Bering Strait might have been the bridge for which migration happened. Yeah.
And, you know, even saber-toothed tigers and all these large critters that were wiped out from after the younger Dryas, which is the last ice age, were coming over from there, too.
Well, you know, also there's Native American legends, right, Nico?
Yeah.
Native American legends, you know, while we say it was never wise to put too much stock into Native American folklore, is what some people say, one would be equally unwise to casually dismiss all of it.
Well, another thing, too, is if you've
That's
been
crazy.
listening to Adapt 2030, if you listen to people like Graham Hancock, if you listen to people in the Thunderbolts Project, all these symbols that we're starting to see in the sky, like that giant serpent's tail or
The serpent's
dragon's
tail
tail,
lighting,
the Omega Man with the glowing things underneath, that's being shown in the sky very seldom now, but it's beginning again. And these are things that our ancestors drew on cave walls. They thought it was important. And remember, we talked about Galebi Tepe.
Yes.
and how they discovered that the animals on those statues were actually constellations and warning of a meteor.
They were timestamps.
They were timestamps
To give us some
kind of
clues.
like a timestamp that's on the Hoover Dam. On the Hoover Dam, there's a depiction of the exact time when the stars were aligned in a constellation. So if you look up at the constellation, well, it doesn't look exactly like it. You go back in time to when the Hoover Dam was constructed. That was it. And we see that in the pyramid builds, and we see that in Göbekli Tepe now, and probably in lots of other things if we look at it that way.
Well, the Sphinx.
The Sphinx.
Yeah, the
definitely.
Sphinx is actually,
The Leo rising with the sun in the spring equinox.
Exactly,
Timed
yes.
to 10,500 years ago.
Exactly.
So,
It's
so these
amazing.
legends, I would pay attention to legends. Of course, there's a lot of eyewitness evidence out there, and we'll go through some of that too when we come back.
Yeah, they say the term Bigfoot wasn't coined until the 1950s, but it goes back many centuries, folks. We're not just the only ones that have been talking about it. Cultures have been talking about it.
The first time it was really in our face was with that Patterson Gimlin film, was in the 1960s, and that's the first time you actually saw a film. And I think I got to that. So we'll be right back, folks. Stick around. We got a lot more.
Yeah, we'll get into this hairy conversation.
Would like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back to Living a Primal Lifestyle. Nico and I are discussing his upcoming trip out to Colorado to explore areas with a researcher on Bigfoot. And as we were discussing, Nico, let's talk about some of the eyewitness evidence. And we know that there's been many people saying that they've seen him. Well, undoubtedly, there's probably some hoaxers that just want to kind of get some attention.
Well, there's 10,000 reports last year in every single state.
10,000 in every state, eyewitness views. You said there's some guy that has been seen right here south of Tampa Bay.
Yeah, and just off of Sarasota, there's a place, Mayaki Swamp area, and there's researchers going into there, and they're hearing the sounds. They see things. They see tree bends just like that.
Wow.
So that's been reported for
So
many,
every
many
single
years.
state, people are seeing in remote places, they're seeing evidence of these unusual structures, sounds, movements, footprints, etc.
Yeah, and the interesting part about the structures, too, even though they're different in different areas, they're similar. They all have the stars. They all have the X's.
You and I were talking during the break
bends.
that maybe they're trying to say, warning, don't come in here, off limits.
I remember that first movie of Planet of the Apes is when the guy comes out of the desert into where the apes are. You see those big X's up there, so I thought that was
well, that's kind of
interesting
interesting. Okay, so they've been eyewitness people think they see him. Hair samples. They found hair that it's kind of human-like, though thicker, and it says that the creature that the hair comes from may be more human than animal, but since there are no known Sasquatch samples to compare them to, they can't be identified as actually Sasquatch.
Yeah, partial human is the way they describe it. And there have
been footprints.
Footprints, and here
got
you
his
see
name from the size of the massive tracks he makes, so it's not remarkable that the best evidence for his existence remains these tracks.
And you see some fake ones right next to the good ones. They just put that there for comparison because people do fake things.
Yeah, people like to do hoaxes just to get involved in things, but then the case is some of this has got to be, obviously has warranted people's exploration, including you.
Jeff Meldrum, who's one of the researchers, actually a doctor, says these ridges that are on here are definitely just like our fingerprint ridges, which kind of proves that there is something alive there making these. And of course, he's had some sightings too. The other thing is the Gimlin-Patterson film, and I have that.
The Gimlin-Patterson film was shot in Northern California in October 1967.
Put this up on the telestrator, Al.
And this film, keep in mind, this is Super 8 film.
Yeah,
so,
back in the
of course,
60s.
I mean, imagine I think of my, look at his stride.
And her, because the breasts, you can see the breasts.
Okay.
Yeah. And the walking really is interesting because humans walk with a certain gait that is completely different than this animal is walking. Interesting because the angle of our foot when it comes up is only 21 degrees, always, with every human being. These are way more, up in the 30-degree range.
Is that picture right over there to the far, below that, right there? Is that kind of a increase of that original movie?
Yeah,
there?
that's the close-up shot from it. And here is Patterson, I think.
Right.
Bob Gimlin, actually. Patterson, I think, is
right,
dead.
they were together.
But these are all different movies, so there's plenty of things on there. You can say, yeah, maybe that's a guy in a suit, but that's been debunked many, many times. And it's a very interesting thing for sure. Back to the newsletter. If we look down here, and this is a few still shots of that, but this is a close-up.
Is that's not from that? That's
no, this is from
more
Todd
recent.
Standing, who's another researcher who's been putting things out, and this was a close-up of one. These are two different frames, so it's not the same frame, but the detail is pretty amazing. Of course, it's been cleaned up a little bit too, so you can see it better.
Right.
And pretty interesting picture there, for sure.
Yeah, thank goodness for iPads where you can zoom in.
Yeah.
That is pretty amazing. Does look very unique. Actually, looks like he's got a piece of rope or something, or a stick.
That's a stick that's sticking up in front of him.
Mm-hmm. But you can really see.
Yep.
So, I think this is going to be very exciting, and we're going to hope that you're going to give us some
Well, we're going to be
footage.
taking pictures. We are going to be movies. Mark is going to be videotaping this. I'm going to be taking field notes with it. We're going to be spending at least 2 days out there. And I think this is going to be an exciting trip. At first, we were kind of panicking because a couple of weeks ago, Mark said, oh, my God, I can't find the place. It's nowhere. I can't get up there. It's too much snow. And then I said, well, let's just take it. I'm coming anyway. I said, let's just take it easy. And then all of a sudden he goes, I went back up there. Here's new videos. And here's the result of those things. So.
Well, this is going to be, we'll be looking forward to hearing a full report when you get back.
Yeah.
And look at that. What is that?
Just an antler or some
Oh,
kind
okay.
of things that you find.
It reminds me of when I was a kid. I grew up in Virginia, and, you know, remember how you would leave and you'd let the screen door slap and you'd say bye to your mom in the morning and you'd be barefoot and you'd just wait till you heard the holler to come home.
Right.
But we used to go up into the mountains and, you know, we'd find usually cow bones. You know, just that they'd gotten out of their pasture and gone up into the mountains. But I remember just creating that mystery around what was going on in the forest.
Your
that was different from down there.
imagination does go wild out there, and of course I was brought up in northern Canada and often in the bush. That was my passion, just like you did. You know, slam the screen door and you're out of there, and they don't see you till dark. And that's where I was, in the bush, in the mountains, looking at things, and never at that time thinking about Bigfoot, but always hoping I'd find a bear or something. Never really did.
Right.
Years later, I found a bear when I was older, but that's a different story.
But let's talk a little bit about your trip in this perspective. Again, you're getting back and you're connecting with nature. You're going to be in nature and in that forest.
And my son.
And your son.
Yeah.
So it's communal, it's tribal, it's primal, and it's being outside. And Stephen and I did a fantastic interview yesterday with Dr. Zach Bush.
Okay.
He's the gentleman who formulated Restore. And it was just an amazing talk. I can't wait to share it with our listeners. And he was really explaining that that's really what's happened. The best mix of microbiome that you can get is when you breathe in different ecosystems. Breathing in, touching, getting your hands in the dirt, breathing them in.
Well, especially being in tune with your own ecosystem that surrounds your home and everything like that. It's not the pristine forest, but it's still important, I think, to be in your yard.
That's what he said, really being in diverse environments.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited for you to be, you know.
Well, it's just one of those things. I love adventure, kind of like a hobbit. We like to go on adventures, and the chance to be with my son alone, and not very often we've done this. And I had my best memories of life was being with my father and my grandfather, just the three of us, or just the two of us, my dad and I, going on adventures. My dad and I often would go off for a few days and go snake hunting, go porcupine hunting, you know, trying to hunt for unusual animals so he can explain to me what this wonderful world is about. As he often put it, he says, we have this wonderful world with all these creatures, and we know so little about them. Even though we read books on them, it's not the same as going out there and experiencing them.
And being in their environment.
Yeah, so that's really the deal behind what I want to do, is just experience this, and we're definitely going to do this.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing all about it, Nico, and I hope you're going to have a very safe trip.
Yep, I shall do.
So we got a few minutes left, and are we going to go through some of the other highlights? We got some more information on this?
We'll come up with something.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, folks, so stick around. Please pick up our Primal Edge, our one-shot wonder, over 310 organic cell-ready ingredients in the liquid, which makes it easier to take, and all powered by fulvic and
Fulvic and
human. I can't talk anymore. Not unusual. Okay, we'll be right back, folks. Stick around. You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to the Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
All right. I think we've got Larry from Wyoming on the line. Good morning, Larry.
Hey, Larry, how you doing?
Well, I'm doing good. How are you guys doing there?
Great.
You're bright and
Good.
early.
You guys are ahead of the curve still, I'm telling you. The world's trying to catch up.
Always.
I just wanted to speak about conflict in religious centers over health care and the religion of Islam. It's alive and well. Believe me, they're about equally hot topics because at religious centers you have tons of doctors contributing huge sums of money to keep the gig going, and you've got a populace, the membership that isn't really thinking they're doing a great job for the American, public. So you've got built-in conflict, and it's just very interesting. And I'm in a committee to help people with their health, and the doctors show up to hear what propaganda we're explaining to people, and they fight us. So, yeah, I'm in a war that I didn't even choose to be in.
Welcome to the club.
There's an interesting group of doctors, Larry, that are doing their own thing, not getting insurance, not accepting insurance, and putting people on a monthly plan, whatever they can afford.
Concierge-type medicine, so they can actually practice healing as opposed to medicine.
Exactly. Going back to what the old country doctor used to do, even home visits and things like that, so they don't take any Blue Cross Blue Shield of any kind. They don't take any government money. They just say, pay us, and we'll help you with your health. And I think that's the future.
With everything you all know to be just common sense and second nature and, just responses that you would make to anybody, the medical doctors freak out over ketogenic diets.
Yeah. They don't understand.
Intermittent fasting, anything that isn't what they routinely sell. And I think it's partly due to psychological conflict because every day they're pitching their products, and they don't want to hear that the products aren't helping anybody, and people could be helped if you just change your nutritional approach and a little exercise. So it's just, I don't think it's going to, I don't know how, it's like politics, period. It's just
it is politics, actually.
Yeah, it really boils down to that, and that's really what I wanted to say. I mean, I've been studying the religion of Islam, and honestly, I don't know. That's another thing in a PC sort of culture.
why can't we talk about how these religions were brought about and created? And you take it back to the original guy. It's not really a religion. It's not a religion.
Hey,
I've studied it.
The word religare, where it comes from, means to control, to constrain.
Yeah, it's a control and submission. It's no more a true religion than is the religion of allopathic medicine. So,
well, actually, you can lump all those religions as far as the organization and the control of them. What people have in their hearts is a different thing than an organized religion. Organized religion is much like organized politics. They protect themselves and use any means to do that.
Well, that's for sure. Survival of institutions is as huge as survival of individuals, in their own struggles.
And now, of course, we have the president that just passed a bill that's saying that churches can openly endorse candidates, kind of like they do in the Muslim countries.
Yeah.
Well, tell us what,
anyways,
Larry,
if everybody had an honest job and went to work and came home tired, I think we'd have a better culture than a bunch of pencil
I would
pushers.
recommend one thing is reading the book of Peter Joseph, which is the new human rights movement.
Yeah, Peter Joseph is the one that wrote
the
Zeitgeist.
And one of the things he says, of course, in the old days when we were trading things, we would trade hour for hour. It doesn't matter if you're a brain surgeon or a factory worker, an hour is an hour. And that's the way we were brought up through most history, and it started really changing, with this American and British and French type of capitalism that is really capitalism for the poor, but it's socialism for the rich because they keep getting bailed out.
No question about it, but
Tell us a little bit,
I got a
Larry.
question. A year ago or so, I think Paige's partner came on. I've been whacked with the broken neck problem, and my voice is never the same, and I know there's a certain stress in me. And I think his name's Steve or something.
Mm-hmm.
He was talking about he felt his voice had changed. He got in an accident and he went somewhere or read something, and I cannot find that quote. I want to study what he looked at, what he studied.
I will talk with him today.
Oh.
Yeah. So
okay.
Send me a little email and I'll follow up with Steve and put him in touch with you.
Okay, got it. All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks a lot, Larry.
Thanks for your effort and energy in being a truth warrior.
I'm a true follower of truth. I'm trying to. Well, I don't always know the truth. Believe me.
None of us do.
Like everybody else.
No, we try our best.
Well,
that's for sure.
let me ask a quick question. What is it that you're involved in up there that you're having this conflict exactly? Can you share that with us?
It's religious, so it's kind of like the guy that they brought in a new head, priest guy, and he got immediately taken into the power group by the doctors who are the big contributors. And he's not, to me, the members feel like it's a doctor-run religious center. Wow. And he's realizing lately, after I've sent him tons of information on health and what it really involves, that these guys are truly using the religious center to really say, look, I'm not only a doctor, but I'm a religious doctor. I'm really important.
Oh, yeah.
And that's kind of the game that's going on. And huh?
I'm reliving that whole feeling when.
You know what I'm trying to describe?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a religious doctor. Watch out, I'm the best. It's two lies, really.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And
anyways,
I'm glad. Appreciate you just trying to help. That's all we can do is continue to educate, empower, and remind people that we are powerful beings and that we have a right to work on our own health and healing. And health and hygiene was originally our birthright, and it was passed down through generations. And I think it's important that we kind of get back to that. So thanks for being a part of that good fight.
Thanks for calling.
Hallelujah.
Always good to hear from you, Larry.
Thanks, Larry.
Thanks.
Take care.
Have a great day.
It's interesting to see how people are frustrated with not only the political climate, but the climate of our health and medicine and drugs and GMOs and all these things.
Let me just tell you about that story. As soon as he said that, it reminded me, a few years ago when we voted in Pinellas County fluoride out of the water.
Right.
It was really a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
And I was involved in educating the commissioners and the mayors in our area. Yeah. I spent money buying researched books like The Fluoride Deception, and out came the paid-for dental army with their bow ties and spectacles, and it's like I watched the commissioners just start bowing down, like, oh, Yeah. And it was just amazing, even though I probably knew more about health. It was just a real distraction, very disappointing that they didn't want to do the research, didn't want to do the work. And we put fluoride back in the water, and as Alex Jones said, we were the laughingstock of the world.
That's why I'm using the Theragoods water.
There you go. We got to take the power in our own hands, fix things.
We'll be right back, folks.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
No matter where you're listening to TFNN programming, you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones, iPads, and Android devices, located in the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit tfnn.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and call-in talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com. Educating investors. Up next, 9 before 9 with John Logan on TFNN.
And welcome back. I found this article here, Why Your Brain Needs More Downtime. And that's
I love
another...
that picture.
Yeah, it's a great picture.
I mean, sitting by a creek, and, we've been talking about that for the last couple of visits.
Well, it's part of the reasons that we go on vacations.
Yeah, and I went, and went hiking up in Kentucky with my friend, and this reconnection thing is so crucial. And like I learned yesterday in that interview with Dr. Zach Bush, that's where we've lost it. We've lost the connection. We've disconnected from the wireless network that really matters, and that's the wireless network connecting us with the microbes that run the world.
Yeah, many people report being constantly frazzled and worn out, which makes perfect sense. Our brains did not evolve to handle the complexity of current environment.
Yeah. And, you know, every now and then, I'm sure you feel it too. You get that feeling, that overwhelmed feeling in the afternoon, that feeling of just being consumed with the little hamster trail of life that I think we get onto, and I think we need to tune into that because that's a signal that we need to disconnect so we can reconnect.
Yeah, and the tendency a lot of times is when you're frazzled, things like that, is go to the opposite thing, which means zoning out, which is really not helping the stress as much.
You need to tune in to those.
You need to tune into yourself and to
the things around you.
Yeah, being mindful instead of stopping the machine that's in making all the words for us. We need to clear them out and be one with nature, be one with whatever is happening in front of us. Certainly, an important thing. So, freelance
writer and meditation teacher Michael Taft, he experienced his own version of what he called cerebral congestion. So, you know, there's just such a sense in America and everywhere that so much is coming at you at once and so much to process that you just can't deal with it all. And so what was really cool was that he took a retreat for 92 days. He lived at a place called Insight Meditation Society's Forest Refuge. We talked about the forest bathing and so forth last week. And he never spoke a word to anyone else for those 92 days.
Right. Yeah, we talked about this on another show.
Yeah, we did. No, we've talked about it a lot because it's important. That's why we keep talking about it, because it's important that we realize that this is, and it never became more clear than yesterday in doing that interview with Dr. Bush. He really kind of getting back to the basics of, you know, we can take all the nutrients. One of the reasons that we've built the things that we've done is because we believe we've got to get back to health is in the soil. Yeah. You know, our body is an environment, and it's like the soil. We need to nurture that.
Yeah. He says Americans and their brains are preoccupied with work much of the time. Throughout history, people have
they've intuited that such puritanical devotion to perpetual busyness does not in fact translate to greater productivity.
And definitely not to great health.
Yeah.
So we are definitely being overworked. And I think this is a pattern that's going to continue in the future because we're always hearing now that human beings are going to be replaced by robots and other mechanical things. And this is definitely going to happen.
Maybe that's part of the intention. Well, keep us our brains so on alert, never getting into those deep
relaxation states. Well, the problem is that
states.
We don't have, when you don't have a lot of money and you're making $50,000 a month, or $50,000 a year, and some people are making $50 a month or a day maybe, but the ones that are making the $50 a year, you're working so much you don't have time for the downtime. That it's really important. We're definitely working too hard. I take more pride in working 3, 4, 5 hours and doing what I love. And that's, you know, then I can relax more of the time and spend the time on my health and my personal interests. And I think that's just more important than working, especially if you're working for somebody else in a type of meaningless type job, which I think many people are. You don't have the passion going to work.
Think
that's
about
not
it,
good
folks.
for you.
What if the brain requires substantial downtime to remain industrious and to generate its most innovative ideas? So we're really driving that point home because Nico and I both come to the conclusion that we need to tune out sometimes so we can get tuned in.
I'm going to be definitely tuning in.
Yeah, well, we'll hear more about it. We've got one more day with you before you take off, guys.
Yep.
This is the show. We'll see you next show.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his Opening Call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the Opening Call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.